So this is in Italy. Napoli.
Just kind of glances right at it. But I mean, if that image doesn't tell you what's really going on, I don't know what does.
It's really kind of eerie, isn't it? So if anybody's listening, it's somebody tore a poster of Alex in half, and it's Alexandria Genocide Cortez instead of Ocasio, and it's got the face of a totally suffering Palestinian child on the other side. It's horrible.
And it's got to make you wonder, how much longer does she think she's going to be able to continue, pretending like she is somehow going to be the leader of the Democratic Party?
Well, she is, but it's going to be a leader of nothingness. That's the whole thing. She is going to be that. It just will be completely irrelevant, which is that's sort of why it's somewhat entertaining to me, because like being the queen of nothing is not impressive. So you're right. She is going to get to that, and then they will die and go away, and she'll be in like she'll be one of the last generation people in Congress from their party.
No, I don't think that she can come back, P. Brandon Watt. I don't think there is any. No, once you've sealed your fate at this level, there's no redemption.
Because who is she coming back to? It's sort of like Bernie in a sense. All you're going to do is maybe some of the people that weren't quite comfortable with you yet are now comfortable with you, but all the people that supported you are all gone and not coming back. So that's the problem. I don't know anyone really who still supports Alex that originally did.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that probably are still hanging on because they think that, they still buy into this narrative that, well, she's just playing the game. She's a
tool. She's a fraud, and she's a tool and a grifter. She's not playing a game. Well, no, she's playing a game, but she's not like doing it to just ultimately do the right thing. That's not happening. That ship sailed. She's full shit. She's a grifter. She's about herself and her career. She has proven that repeatedly. When people show you who they are, believe them. The sooner you believe them, the less time you waste.
I think it's also imperative that people realize that she is going to continue, much like Jasmine Crockett in particular, are going to continue to try and maneuver their way into positions of authority. And by doing so, they are convinced that they will eventually get enough support where they can take real power. And maybe they will. I'm not saying that that's not possible, but we have to be realistic here about what's really going on. They are keeping their mouth shut because they think it's politically advantageous to do so. But when somebody like Angus King, of all people, that independent senator from Maine, he comes out and he makes a statement effectively saying, I will not support any aid packages whatsoever to Israel. That to me says it all. You've got a guy like Angus King, who is an institutional lifetime Politico. Colin, not that one, please. The one with Angus King. I mean, this is insane. Senator Angus King to oppose any support for Israel amid Gaza crisis. How do you get a guy like this to say that?
Well, he's an independent, for one. Who does he normally caucus with? I really don't know anything about.
Normally caucus.
Okay. So I don't know anything about this guy, but it's what has he been voting for thus far? Like, has he supported every other thing?
And leave it to Colanello, who has been with us forever, to come on here and say it was a stupid performative vote and now she's a fraud. Y'all desperate to trash one of the leftmost congressperson. I understand what you're trying to say, but let me assure you that that's not the case. And here's the thing. You are now turning into the very people that you think you oppose. What, you want to have Trump elected? Get on board, vote blue no matter who.
I'm not sure what she's a fraud because she's always been a fraud. We just didn't realize it to the extent that we do. But her entire persona was made up. We know people that participated in that when she was a created entity by the Justice Democrats. I'm telling you, she's like the Spice Girls of politics. But that aside, she has shown over and over again that she stands for nothing.
And the problem that Colanello and so many other people have is they don't understand. It's not that we think AOC is evil. It's that we know she's a coward. That's it. This is a career, and that is what comes first. And that means I am not going to put you. Imagine if somebody like Alex was a real leader, a real movement leader. Could you imagine if she got on a freedom flotilla?
Well, I was saying on Punch Up last night, I put it in the chat. I think that if Shama Sawant was in there, I bet you she would do something like that.
She probably would.
And whether or not it would get what kind of response it would get, I don't know. The problem with Alex is that she's not really a progressive. She doesn't really stand for anything. She was just sort of, I don't know, right place, right time, right face. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, again, she's Latina. She's attractive. She, again, it was a facade. It's not real.
It's not real. And not only that, but here's the thing. Here's what it really comes down to. At the end of the day, she has voted multiple times to send money to the Zio ethno-state. So if you have voted to send money there, that's it. You are what you do with your vote with that. That's who you are. That's your legacy. I mean, there's no justifying it.
And again,
even this guy gets it.
And we have put this out there many a times. Just because we're criticizing Alex doesn't mean we agree with people like Benny Johnson and Alex Stein and Steven Crowder and all these people that grift off of Alex to make money, that go to where she's from in Westchester County, New York, and show that she grew up in an affluent community. Okay, so maybe she was just middle class, but you know what? She grew up comfortably. She did not grow up in the hood. She did not grow up with, I've lived in the hood. She didn't live there. So the whole facade, the whole persona that she's this working class hero, it's not true. And
no, she owned the bar.
Yeah, she's a part owner in the bar.
Of the bar that she worked in. Exactly. It's a facade. It's a gimmick. She's a gimmick. And it's not going well, and people need to realize it and now accept that that's just where we are. But yeah, AOC Pelosi.
And that's what I wish Colanello would understand, and anybody else who's here in the audience who still supports her. I'm not telling you that, oh my God, you're so stupid if you still support her. What I am telling you, though, is that do not ever expect the masses to get behind her. We are entering a new era in politics. This is the dawning of a new era. It's real. MAGA is not going to let Trump get away without releasing the Epstein files. It's not going to happen. It's going to break the whole fucking movement because they know what's behind that wall. There's two things behind it. Elites are child fuckers, and it's facilitated by Israel. And they don't want it to come out. Why? Because there are hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars invested in it. A senator like Angus King, he doesn't give a fuck. He is at the tail end of his career, and he is just there to make a point.
Well, right. That clearly he's not running again. And so it doesn't matter to him that he's willing to finally take a stand. My question would be, where has he been over the past couple of years? Where has he been voting? Has he been supporting it all up till right now?
Correct. That's the point. And this is the reason, again, this comes full circle into why Randy Fine has been excommunicated from AIPAC. The PR is getting really bad. Really fucking bad. And the fact that you've got hundreds of thousands that are about to die from mass starvation, they are not going to be able to sweep that under the rug. Can't do it. Now, they're going to intercept any flotilla boat that's going to try to bring aid. But this is the crime of the century. This is the biggest crime of the 21st century. And there's plenty of others, don't get me wrong. What we're doing in Yemen, what's going on in Somalia. And
nothing is like this. Nothing is like this. And every person who I have seen talk about this, whether military, Doctors Without Borders, anybody that I have seen who has been to Gaza, whether in a military capacity or in a relief worker capacity, have all said the same thing, that if you added up every other disaster they've ever been in together, it still doesn't come close to what they've seen there. So I can't even fathom. And if this piece of shit has been on board up until now, this doesn't matter what he's saying. It's irrelevant.
I agree. We have got, I mean, the only reason I'm even bringing this up is because of the fact that Alex is still stone silent. And that she is now getting called out in Italy, that people in Italy are putting up posters calling her a fraud.
They called her Alexandria Genocide Cortez.
I mean, you said from jump, she had the chance to be the Mockingjay.
But she never was. But that was also me with this thought that she was at least who we thought she was. And now I know that none of that was ever really true anyway.
Correct.
So yes, she was in a position where she could have had that, but she never wanted that. She wanted a nice job.
She wanted
she also never admitted or talked about the fact that she interned for Ted Kennedy.
Zaina and I talked at length back in like 2018, not long after she got in there. And we had the conversation where basically she's like, she loves the life. I'm like, yeah, it is a life that very few people can walk into and be able to handle it.
And especially people that are immature, young, inexperienced, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of variables, but no, I mean, I'm just really over her at this point. Unfortunately, given the demographics, she can be sitting in that seat for an eternity, sort of like Pelosi has been in her seat.
We are moving towards fascist authoritarianism because we have a country that is bought and paid for by corporate special interests, and Israel is at the head of the class.
Yeah.
And if you're not speaking out against it, you are as guilty as anyone who takes that fucking money.
Well, the fascist authoritarianism is what we're talking about. You just don't see the connection of it to how you don't understand it in the same manner in which we're explaining it. It's all connected. The fact that she's supposedly Mick resistance and you're buying into it, and yet still signing over money to commit a genocide, but then playing as if she really gives a shit. How is that helpful? Those are the people that are making it harder and harder for us to get anywhere, not the Republicans. We see who they are. We know we have to deal with them.
And this is why I would say this is another example. You know, it's funny that you can make this comparison, but this is much like what I was talking about with Jimmy Dore the other day. You know, him and Marjorie Taylor Greene actually have a similar connection, and I'll explain. So there's a lot of people who don't like Jimmy Dore, and understandably so. And I will never forgive him for what he did to Jen.
I just don't want to talk about him anymore. I'm so sick of hearing about him.
The point is that he was right about force the vote. And we stood by his analysis.
But why do you I don't understand why we're talking about this so much now.
We're talking about it now because it's directly related to the same issue with Marjorie Taylor Greene. You don't have to like Marjorie Taylor Greene to know that she was right about a critical issue that we are supporting. And if the reason you don't want to support it is, well, I don't like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, you know what? Marjorie is right on that issue, and Alex is wrong.